Well, as you can see, we bring out the clicker again. Hey everybody, I'm Hank B. This is
Josh T.
And we are R2Cents Media.
Media.
So right now we're going to kind of do a review of Game of Thrones, House Targaryen. We originally had this plan to do as a midway episode, but real life got in the way. So now that all the first season's out, we've decided to go ahead and we're still going to do
COVID.
it. Yeah, I got second
Twice.
time. So Game of Thrones House Targaryen is out on HBO Max, came out in 2022. Originally this was supposed to be at episode 4, but again, 10 episodes are out. 172 years before the birth of Daenerys Targaryen is where they list it at. And I'm sure by the time the show is over, we will see the birth of Daenerys Targaryen.
Probably.
Yeah. So,
I want you to start first. I know you're kind of worked up about this one. This is getting good.
This show, at this point, I find the show to be unwatchable. I feel that it's written by Star Trek writers, and the reason I make that joke is there's been so much time jumping in it that I find it to be a ridiculous concept of a show. Now, I did breach this with a friend of mine who's read the books, and they go, yeah, the books are kind of like that. Well, this ain't the goddamn books. It feels like every goddamn episode that they've showed should be its own season, and they could actually write story for these characters, but they don't. It's like, hey, we're just going to keep time jumping because we don't have good writers and we want to get too much out there, but nothing's concise and concentric. Mm-hmm. I mean, 1 minute you got a 4-year jump, next month you got a 9-month jump, then you got a 10-year jump, but hey, we might be going back in time. No, wait, this is new actors after 10 more years, and the actors that you were starting to like are fucking gone from the show.
And then they have 13 children.
Yeah, there's so many kids.
They go from 10 years old to 13.
I'm supposed to care about these kids who I've not seen. See, that's the difference between House Targaryen and Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones started off, you saw the kids, you cared about the kids, you basically were following the kids.
Character building.
It was exactly, you just said the perfect word. They built the characters. I was starting to be interested in the princess. I was like, okay, I'm starting to enjoy her acting. Mm-hmm. I want to see how she, puts her quirkiness into the princess's character, and now she's gone.
Then next episode comes, and then it's like, oh, well, what am I watching? Did I miss something? Did I skip an episode? Did I skip 10 episodes? Like
did I skip 12 years of episodes?
It makes you go back and look at the TV. You're like, no, still episode 2.
I mean, you start watching the episode, and you have to spend 5 minutes of where they're talking, going, okay, how far ahead did they jump? Who the hell are these actors? So I stopped. Honestly, like I said, it's unwatchable. I stopped in the middle of episode 7. I couldn't take it anymore. When the kid lost his eye, that was it. Because I've already seen clips of where he's a full adult with an eye patch. So that means they're going to jump another goddamn 10 years or more in the next couple episodes. And I'm like, I'm fucking done. I'm done. I might go back and finish watching it, but I'm just like, this is ridiculous. I might speed watch it simply to be like, oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. Oh, dragon. Speed watch the shit. Because I just can't.
Just watch the last episode. Do a time jump yourself.
Wait a minute. Is the last episode where the queen or the princess comes through the door on the back of her dragon during the party? Is that the episode? The last episode? They're like some big council meeting, and she bursts through the throne.
Second to the last episode.
Oh, that's second to last episode where they recreate the scene from Shrek. Have you not seen this? So there's a thing out there that's doing a comparison to that whole scene with cuts from Shrek, and it's point for point the scene from fucking Shrek where Donkey comes in on the back of his girlfriend dragon and interrupts some stuff. Oh, yeah, and it's exactly the same. Yep. It's like, okay.
So
okay.
It was the writers of Shrek and Star Trek.
Star Trek.
That
I would watch. But, and it also, so that's all the harping I'm going to do on how bad I feel the show is. I would like to talk about some elements, but how do you feel about the show?
I could keep going. You pretty much summed it up. I feel like I don't even need to say anything, but it's like one of those things where you watch the first episode, you're getting into it, you're like, yeah, I've been waiting a year and a half for this to come out because of all this money they put into it and all this hype they put into it. Then you get into the second episode, like I said, and you're like, I'm lost. Where am I? Is this the same show? It is. But where is it? I'm lost in the story. Do I need to go back and watch episode 1? Did I miss anything? And then, same thing. 3 months, 6 months, 6 years, 12 years. And like I said, you watch someone go from a little kid to an adult with children. And then, there's all kinds of fuckery going around with all other... what is it? The King's Guard and stuff.
So when I started watching the 6th episode, and that's when we had the first time we had the new actress, and she was giving birth. I'm like, oh, okay, new actress, and we're like, oh, she's giving birth, so okay, 9 months to a year passed is what my thought said. And then I'm like, wait, she has 2 other kids, and one of them's like 8 or 9. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And then the guy that was playing her now guard at that point, I'm like, wait, did they replace him as an actor too? Because did they want to age him? But then you find out the guy that she first slept with is working with the queen, probably banging her because the queen is like the biggest hypocrite of the whole fucking show. And you're like, huh?
Yeah. It's a mess. And I mean, I'll probably continue to watch it just because Game of Thrones is one of my favorite shows of all time.
This is no Game of Thrones.
The last season of Game of Thrones. But, like, House Targaryen, I'm interested to see where it goes. I mean, I know where it's going to go leading up to the regular Game of Thrones.
Yeah, by the end of season 2, we should see the birth of Daenerys Targaryen. I think that's enough time jumps that they could have put in at that point.
They'll probably have 6 episodes and then... a couple of dragons fighting, boom, bow, ow. 6th episode, Daenerys Targaryen to be born. No, 5th episode, and then the 6th episode she'll be an adult in where they're across the seas. Before they start their army. That's what I'm expecting is supreme time jumps with no character building and no way to get attached to this show.
See, I'm having a hard time not cutting him off.
We're talking about shows that like are kind of disappointing and like another one I honestly was enjoying the story of Lord of the Rings more than this one. I know that we're going to talk about Lord of the Rings another day with Dr. Kuhn, Mr. Banks.
Well, I mean,
but like.
If we compare the two, they're doing character building. They're not jumping a whole bunch of time. There's some little bit of a time, this takes place way before. But the simple fact is that they're not jumping time. They're letting you get invested in the characters, and they're not all of a sudden going to have like freaking, oh hey, we got the hobbits right there. There's it's like they're not doing the stories badly. People may not agree with the stories they're doing, but we're talking strictly from a storytelling standpoint.
But as far as like the House Targaryen story, it's been kind of disappointment.
And I already get people telling me how they disagree with what I'm saying, but I don't care.
Some cussing at you, mother. But leave a comment.
This is the end of our part 1 disagreement with House Targaryen. We're gonna have a part 2 where we actually talk about a little bit more of the actual show without hating on it, but we like to keep these down at around 10 minutes. I think about 10 minutes of us bagging on how bad the writing is good enough.
Yeah.
At this point. Now, I will say this: if they had said the first season is going to contain time jumps and it's setting up for season 2, which will be the real start, and they don't do as many time jumps, I would have been much happier if they just admitted that shit right from the start. But that is what it is. So, House Targaryen, as you've seen it, based on the storytelling only, the thing that we're bitching about, based on storytelling, where would you rank it?
Out of 10 of our R2Cents meter, I would give it a 2. A 2.
Yeah. I honestly, I think I would only give it 1 cent because at this point, like I've said, I feel this show is unwatchable. I can't, in a good conscience, give it higher than that because the fact that I turned off the show in the middle of it, I'm just like, I just can't watch this shit. So, yeah.
As much of a fan
based on the story is, just based on how they're writing the stories right now.
I'll still watch the next season and stuff, but
So, that's our 2 cents. We'd love to hear your 2 cents on our part 1, and stick around for part 2.
Yeah.